You're live.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the extraordinary meeting of the Grey District Council. It is now 4 o'clock and we will start the meeting. Turning to page 4, item 1, apologies. Today we have one apology from Kaiwhakahere Tuamahai. I will move that. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Becker. All those in favour? Aye, motion carried. Turning to item 2 and 3, updates to the interest register and conflicts of interest. If you have any updates today, please pop them on the register, and if there are any conflicts, please declare them now or as the meeting proceeds. Please note that this is a public meeting and it is being recorded. So turning to page 6 of your agenda, Government 3 Water Reform feedback. Has everybody got their agendas up and everyone sorted there?
Yep.
I haven't. I've actually got a paper copy for a change. It's all over the place. Right, okay. So today I have brought to the table the motion for the Grey District Council to opt out of the government's proposed 3 water reforms. As you all know, at this stage, there has been a big workload on our staff council that has absorbed a vast amount of time and funding. And I'd like to thank all of the councillors and the staff for the work that they have put into this already. I think it is fair to say that we have not been happy with the process and the information that we have received. What has been proposed and the information that we have tried to decipher has not been correct and has been difficult to understand. There's been many unanswered questions that have been avoided by ministers that we need answers to. Ourselves and our communities have also shown concern and alarm at such a shoddy process. We are seeing a similar reaction from other councils and communities around the country. What is looking like a large amount of the 67 councils may be making the same decisions as we are today. I do not think that the reaction from so many people and councils could be wrong. We have listened to our communities, and by asking for their feedback, it has come back at 97% against. And I believe that this is the best decision that we can make at this point in time. 710 million spent so far from the government on the COVID relief fund for this process of the 3 water reform from our taxpayers, our staff time and resources, and the cost of gathering feedback, which is also on the ratepayer and all the ratepayers around the country. The meetings and the travels that we have attended on 3 water reforms, that we have left with no more information than we come with. It has been up to councils to try and explain these reforms to their worried communities, and it really is not their position to be doing so. The advertising campaign for $3 million that has been completely misleading has also not been a good spending of taxpayer money. I think there needs to be accountability, and water is our most precious asset, and it does deserve a better process. You would have all read the letter attached with our recommendations, and I would like you all to add on that letter your signatures to the DIA and to Minister Mahuta if you are in support. So I am putting up the recommendation today. I'll read that out now. That the government 3 water reform feedback be received. 2, that council provides feedback on issues of concern regarding the 3 water reform proposal to enable the development of council's submission to government. And 3, that council resolves that based on the evidence it has reviewed to date, it opposes the New Zealand government's proposal to establish 4 water entities and removal of 3 water assets and services from local councils. And that following engagement with the 3 Waters Review and the more recent reform proposals, Council has identified 3 primary concerns that will form the basis of the submission to the Department of Internal Affairs. A, loss of local voice, decision-making, and ability to meet local needs and aspirations. B, the evidence on which the proposal is based is flawed. And C, that the 3 water service delivery reform should not take place in the Grey District Council agrees that the 3 water sector faces many challenges and that the status quo may not be sustainable at a national level, but believes that change should be aligned and integrated with our local government reforms. future for local government and the resource management would frame become stations identified before any reform as proposed by government are undertaken. And 5, that council delegates authority the mayor and the chief executive to amend and approve the submission to the government on 3 water reform proposal. Can I have a seconder, please? Thanks, Councillor Gibson. Okay, are there any questions or comments? Please raise your hand if you have some.
Your Worship, you were cutting out then. Do you want me to put that up on
sorry.
screen?
I was just saying, is there any questions or comments there? Please raise your hand. Councillor Becker?
Yeah, I'm definitely opposed to joining this, Tanya. It's a well put presentation and fully supportive of it.
Thank you, Councillor Becker. Councillor Mora?
Yeah, I fully support this recommendation. For me, it's a principled decision around the reduction in local democracy, which is the ability of local communities to determine their own affairs. This drastically reduces our ability to do that. I have serious concerns about our local contractors and their ability to have work going forward. As you've already said, there are serious issues around the way in which this has been costed, as shown in our own looking at this in depth from our own office, and also in Wanganui and other places where they've done it. And there's been no attempt really to seriously look at alternative models. So it's just like they've thrown up one model and said, this is it, take it or leave it. There are other possibilities. You know, Taumata Orawai could have easily just become a regulator offering subsidies and disincentives or penalties, but they've chosen to go down this centralist approach. So I fully support our proposal.
Thank you, Councillor Mora. Any more comments there? Have we lost Councillor Gibson?
Yep, he's disappeared.
Oh, he must have technical difficulties. Councillor McDonald?
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yes, I fully support this resolution as well. It's imperative for an area like ours that we keep a local voice, and there's nothing in that in fact, it takes it away as well as taking the assets away. I'd really like to thank the council and the mayor and the council staff for the report that's been put together and all of the hard work that they've put towards this. I know it's been a lot of extra work, especially on the CE. So thanks very much for that. And yeah, it's a good resolution, and I think we should all support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Haddock? You're on mute. We all get caught with that now and then.
Yep. Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. I'd just like to reiterate what the other councillor said. There's no compelling information that's come forward that would allow me to support the government proposal, and I fully support the recommendation you have put forward. This is dangerously unaccountable. It's totally undemocratic. And I think, for a country, we're on really dangerous ground here, so I would support us not going forward. And I hope the rest of the country overturn this the way it's been presented. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more comments there? I think we have lost Councillor Gibson, and he would like to say something, but I guess we have to go to the vote because he has disappeared.
Your Worship, do you wish it to be put up on screen as well?
Yeah, would you like to have it up, or is everybody quite happy, I think, with the recommendation as it stands? Everybody has read it. Yep. Okay, I propose that we put it to the vote. All those in favour, raise your hands. Against? Okay, so motion carried.
Well done.
Thank you, everybody.
I just echo thanks to the staff and everyone for all the work that's done on this. That was a huge amount of work. Yeah.
It has been, and hopefully now that people can, there's work that needs to be done in the Grey District Council, and it has been a lot of it tied up with this. So hopefully now people can actually move on and do some of the important stuff that we need to carry on with.
Yeah, as Councillor McDonald said, a huge workload on the CE here as well, just on top of everything else.
Yeah, and all those books that you all had to read.
Can I say something, Madam Mayor, just quickly? People are saying, you know, the workload on me, but there was a significant workload on the engineering staff, the financial staff, who had to collate all of the information that went together that we hoped would have been used appropriately, but it wasn't, and that's caused some you know, significant angst, and again rework for us to make sure that to prove the case. So, you know, to Mel and Catherine, especially Curtis, and all the rest of the team who are involved in this, I think they should receive the accolades as well, because they worked really hard in a very, very tight time frame to produce that.
We still do need to see where this heads and what happens with the government's decisions after this. We do have Councillor Gibson back in now. Can we take his vote now that he's arrived back and take a comment from him? Are you for the motion, Councillor Gibson?
Definitely.
Okay. Would you like to speak? So you missed the vote there.
My computer just disappeared. It just turned off.
Excuse me, Your Worship, I'll have to leave the meeting.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Becker.
Well, I don't know what everyone else has said, though. I mean, I've missed 5 minutes of it.
Well, everybody has voted for the motion that we are opting out, and everybody has said that, you know, their thoughts.
Can I speak on it?
If you'd like to put your thoughts, that would be great.
The whole thing I found quite threatening. We're required to accept the three waters without any real evidence. They're saying if you opt in or opt out, you'll not be able to keep up with the new regulations or pay for it. But we don't even know what they are. We haven't been told. Do you think our drinking standards are going to be really bad over the next few years if we don't opt in? I don't think so. They seem to be determined to destroy local government, at least local democracy, at some cost to the ratepayer. And as you've quoted, Your Worship, the 710 million, I think, could have been spent on better things. The Prime Minister said today on radio, this has to be done since the Havelock North contamination. There hasn't been a problem since then. That was 5 years ago. Our council's really that bad? I don't think so. And the Prime Minister also today has quoted that the new water entity will have a partnership of 50% iwi and 50% local council input. That's simply not true. It means the South Island would have to have at least 21 council representatives at the table and 21 iwi. This is simply not the case. Quite confusing. I don't think each of those ministers or prime ministers know what's going on. We'll be lucky to even be heard and everything. I want to go with the people. The public said no, and I'm definitely saying no. Thank you.
Thank you. I definitely think we have, and we have listened to the public and supported their views, that's for sure. And the emails are still flying in about that. We have had a late apology from Councillor Hay, whose internet has not been working. So can I move that now, and I get a seconder for that, please? Thank you, Councillor Haddock, and all those in favour. Aye. Okay, motion carried. All right, thank you, everybody. We'll now declare the meeting